Welcome, brothers. I'm JK Emezi, head coach and founder of the PornReboot system. Now, today I'm going to be taking on a question which is asked once in a while, but this was asked as recently as last week by a brother in one of our groups. And he simply put it, how do I deal with my hatred for women? Now, misogyny and the hatred of women is something that is acknowledged with men who view pornography. I think a lot of people talk about it, but men who view pornography and who understand that they have this problem rarely express the fact that they hate women because it's just not an acceptable thing to say. But the reality is, many men do. And so I'm going to be talking about where I feel professionally this comes from and what you can do about it. The first place it comes from is objectification of women. And when you view pornography, whether you like it or not, if it's become a compulsive behavior, you eventually start viewing women as objects. They're objects for you to experience pleasure from. They're objects for you to hurt. And when I say hurt, I'm serious about that because modern pornography fuses sex and violence. It is not intimate. It is not about love. It is not about connection. It is about violence and it is about sex. And that's one of the things that makes it really exciting. When you view someone as an object, it's very difficult for you to start having compassion for that person. So of course you're going to view men quite differently from the way you view women. But that's not all. The second thing is when you view women as objects, but get to a point in your life where you realize that you might need them in your life for companionship, for intimacy, for friendship, or even just for sex, you may find that you get rejected sometimes. And rejection is just a part of the human mating game. This is just how it works. Unfortunately, many men who are addicted to pornography had their feelings, how do I put it, frozen at a certain age. So when you were 14, 15, 16 years old, or maybe younger, you started using pornography to medicate many of your strong emotions. So things like anger, fear, sadness, and of course all the emotions that come with rejection at that age, you started using pornography, orgasm, and masturbation to deal with them. And so when you get rejected, sometimes you're still reacting like a kid or a teenager who got rejected. You get very upset. The only difference is now you're a grown-ass man filled with testosterone. You're a dangerous individual. Your hatred is actually something that is dangerous to a woman, okay? And that's one of the reasons why there's a lot of violence towards women. It's men not having any sort of coping strategy to dealing with rejection. And this ties in, not just with objectification, but with a third thing, which is a lack of understanding of women's nature. Now, when men are objectifying women, when men are rejected by women and they're not able to get the women that they want, then you start looking for answers, right? That's how you ended up at this video. And maybe you ended up here because you were searching for a solution to your problem with pornography. But men also start looking around for like-minded people, tribes that understand what they're going through. And unfortunately, there are a lot of men and there are a lot of communities out there where there are men who objectify, men who have been rejected by women, and men who do not understand women's nature. And when you find yourself in these communities, you're going to find that certain beliefs are being propagated. Beliefs that women are conniving, women are out to get you, women are manipulative, women lie, women don't care about you. All of these things are very simplified explanations of women's nature. And a lot of these communities, because men have objectified women and men have been rejected by women, they tend towards the negative. And thus, if you put yourself in an environment where all the men are feeling your pain, well, all that's going to do is magnify your hatred towards women. So these are the three ways that I've noticed, at least with men who struggle with pornography, these are the three ways that they keep that seed of hatred for women germinating, and you keep it in this fertile soil within you. But there are a couple of ways to overcome this. And the first way is to end your out of control behavior with pornography. The reason why you need to do this is because it's going to stop you from objectifying women. It's going to take a while, but eventually your brain is going to rewire and you're going to learn how to appreciate women for who they are. You're going to learn how to be intimate with women again. And I know this sounds crazy, but especially if you're still struggling with pornography right now, but you can actually go through life meeting attractive women and not feeling an urge to have sex with them. You can literally meet a woman, you can appreciate her for her beauty, and you can just go on with your life. But the first step is to start treating women like human beings and not like objects. And that begins by letting go of your compulsive behavior with pornography. The second way is to learn how to interact with women without sexualizing them, right? Some men can talk and speak perfectly with other guys, but if you put them in front of a woman, they just don't know what to say, especially if that woman is attractive. But think about it, she's just another human being. She's probably not going to have sex with you, yet you're acting completely different around her. Learn how to interact with women, learn how to have conversations with women in social situations. Speak to them the way that you would speak to a man, in a polite way, of course. Like if you met a strange man and started a conversation with him, well, speak the same way to a woman. And the funny thing is that for many of you out there who objectify women, who don't understand women's nature, who feel that they're always rejected by women and feel that they're not able to get intimacy with women or be successful with women, for many of you, this is literally how you will generate intimacy with women. Many of you have great personalities. There are so many guys in my program, many of my clients, who are just funny, normal, cool guys who I would hang out with. But they just don't talk to women because they have all this junk in their head from pornography. But if they just spoke to women the way they spoke to guys, there are many women who would find them attractive. They don't need to learn game or become pickup artists or anything. They just need to be themselves and talk to enough women and their lives would change. The third way is to learn how to become honest with women about your intentions, especially your sexual intentions. Now, I'm big on honesty when it comes to your intentions with women. There are a lot of men, because of shame in our society and the way that we're socialized, there's just a lot of junk around interacting with women and speaking with them. At a certain point, early in my reboot, when I was ending my behavior with pornography and masturbation, I started being very upfront with women whom I went on dates with about what I wanted. I would just tell women, I would be having a conversation with them, and I'll say, hey, this is absolutely random, but I just wanted to say that you're all kinds of attractive. Just wanted to let you know that. And she'd be like, oh, thank you, or she would think it was weird. Most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, literally, women would just say, thank you. And it didn't matter if anything came out of it. But what mattered is that I actually started getting intimate with more women than I ever had before, right? I wasn't walking around just handing out compliments everywhere. It's just that if I felt that a woman was attractive, I would let that woman know, as long as there were no boundaries, like her being married or her being with a boyfriend or it being an inappropriate situation, like at work. I believe that when men hide and repress their intentions, there's more of a possibility that you're going to objectify the woman, you're going to fantasize about the woman, you're going to create this world that isn't real. But it is so much more freeing for you as a man to just let a woman know how you feel. Like you've got it over with. Like, I told you how I feel, whatever comes from it, that's cool. And you're also less likely to fantasize when you tell a woman how you feel, because you've just let all those emotions out in a controlled verbal way. So the fourth way to deal with your hatred for women is to stop trying to control a woman's life and a woman's behavior, especially those of you who are in relationships. You cannot control a woman's behavior. And if you think you're controlling it, if you're sitting there going like, yeah, I control my wife's behavior, I tell her what to do, I decide what she does with her life, then your relationship, it doesn't matter how long it's going to last, it's going to backfire on you. Because the truth is that although many women do like to be led, that's a whole different story. No human being likes to be controlled. And there are a lot of men who believe that, they should control women in order for them to have happy relationships or in order for them to be intimate. And pornography also perpetuates this belief that you need to control women, and that's what they really want. They want to be dominated, they want to be controlled, and if you control them, then the sex is going to be better. And some of that is based on subliminal messages which are delivered when you watch pornography, and the rest of it comes from our culture and our socialization, like what it means to be a man and what it means to be in a relationship. But trust me on this, when you let women do what they want to do and you focus on being the best man that you can be, a woman, if she really cares for you, is going to be with you. You don't have to control her. The same thing works with kids. If you have adult kids, you can't control your adult kids. So for those of you who have parents, have your parents been able to control you, your life, or your behavior? And if they are you happy? Ask yourself that question. The same thing goes for women. And the final way to let go of your hatred for women is, if you are dating women or if you're in a relationship with a woman, let go of your expectations, especially if you're trying to end your behavior with pornography and masturbation. It creates so many expectations. A lot of times, our idea, our timeline in a dating situation of meeting a woman to the point where we have sex is actually warped by pornography, because pornography has no courting period, no dating period. It's just the woman shows up, blah, 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 sex happens, or you just start with sex happening already. So you're missing all of that. So think about this, if you're watching pornography hundreds of times a year, your idea of sex, whether you like it or not, this is the message you're giving your unconscious mind, is that sex just happens. So quite naturally, your mind is expecting sex to just happen whenever you meet women, or sex to be just given to you on a silver platter if you're in a relationship. And you might get upset because your expectation might be, well, I'm in a relationship now, I should have sex whenever I want it. Your expectation might be, well, she came home with me on the first date, therefore she must want to have sex. And when these expectations are not fulfilled, again, it goes back to the first thing. It goes back to what you view the woman as. You view the woman as an object, whether you like it or not, because at this point, you're not thinking of her feelings. You're not thinking about whether she feels safe. You're not thinking of any of that. You're just thinking about sex and the fact that, well, we're apparently attracted to each other, so we should have sex. Remember, if you struggle with pornography, you are most likely using porn, masturbation, or orgasm to medicate some sort of emotion. And because you don't have any coping strategies, you're just going to feel angry. I rarely find guys in our group, especially guys who are early in the reboot process, who come in and talk about a rejection situation and actually talk about how the woman feels. They always go like, oh man, I didn't do anything, or she didn't want to have sex with me, and I've lost her forever, or my partner left me, but they'll rarely talk about her feelings, or maybe what was she thinking? What was it about my behavior that made her feel a certain way? Men are rarely putting themselves in their partner's shoes. So there you have it, brothers. That is just my personal and professional opinion on how you can deal with your hatred for women. Now, if your hatred for women is on another level and you actually have recurring thoughts about hurting women, or you seriously thought about it, then I highly recommend that you visit a licensed therapist or psychiatrist and just talk about the feelings that you're experiencing. It's important to have someone across from you who can evaluate some of these emotions, who can kind of talk you through some of the things that I've mentioned in this video. I'm JK, your brother in the struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Now, whenever you're ready, there are a couple of ways that I can help you end your out of control behavior with pornography or masturbation. The first way is to join our free Facebook group. It's a place where you can get accountability partners and you can learn more about the PornReboot system. There's a link to join it in the description below this video. The second way is to download a free copy of my ebook. It's called Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men, and it's the roadmap to ending your out-of-control behavior. You can learn about the steps that my clients, who have been free of pornography for over 5 years, took to end their out-of-control behavior. And the final way is, if you feel that you are at a point in your life where maybe you need to have your hand held through the process, or you actually need a system. You're like, JK, I've been trying for many years, but I need something that can take me from A, which is where I'm struggling right now, to Z, which is the point where I want to be completely free of this behavior and I want to move through my life without having pornography or masturbation as a roadblock, then if you are at that point in your life, then you might be a good fit for one of our coaching programs. And there's a link to get on a call with one of my qualified team members. You'll get on a quick confidential call and we'll just find out if you're a good fit for that program. Thank you so much for watching. I release 4 videos every week. Make sure you subscribe to get notified when they're released, and I'll speak to you later on in the week.